back to my channel. I'm going to talk about how me and my husband met. We had been together since 2014, my bad. And we were in 9th grade. He went to a different school, I went to a different school. My friend was texting or Snapchatting him at the time because she went to his school. And then I was like, oh, well, just like taking a picture with her, Snapchatting back, and I was like, oh, he's pretty cute. And didn't realize that his dad knew my dad and my mom. And he pretty much knew my family, but I didn't know him. But he ended up started Snapchatting me, and then we started talking. And then finally one day in class, I was in gym class, and he was in his first period, because that was my first period, was gym. And he asked me to be his girlfriend the night before. I just ignored him, didn't text him, and then I just texted him at the end of that period and was like, yes. But then he told me that he got up and was jumping and screaming in class, and then everybody kept looking at him, trying to figure out why he was screaming and hollering, jumping, and saying she said yes. But we have been together since 2014, got married in 2016, and we have 2 little boys. Our oldest is 7, and then our youngest is 5. But it has been a journey. Our 7-year-old has ADHD. We have been dealing with that, trying to figure out some good, alternatives to medication without doing medication, because his father had a bad experience with it, so we don't want him to have the same one because he acts just like him. And then our youngest is pretty wild, but he's also really sweet. But he does pretty well in school. He just don't like getting up at the crack of dawn, which nobody does, because I don't either, to take them. But and then there's no hate towards my uncle, because I live with him. It was a big situation, so I started living with him. He put me through school, and I just got tired of not being able to do stuff, I wasn't able to go hang out with friends. I was only allowed to hang out with my cousin. I wasn't really able to do the teenage normal life, like every teenager does, party, all that stuff. So I'm kind of a boring, an adult, because I'm very socially awkward. As you can see right now, I'm very awkward. But, to that story with going at my uncle's, I used to tell him, and he knows about it today now, but I started this job at Five Below, and then one day I didn't have to work, but I told him I did have to work. But I told my boyfriend at the time, which is my husband now, to come pick me up from that job. So he did. He picked me up and everything. We hung out, all that. And my uncle decided to go up to the job, and tell them, hey, is Bethany here? And they said no. So, of course, that resulted in me getting in trouble and stuff. But, you're a teenager. You're going to do what you want to do, and you're going to do it when you want to do it. You're going to try to sneak out. So, of course, I was kind of rebellious. But I didn't care, because I actually cared about him. But I was never able to, spend time with him. So, it, took us months and months without seeing each other. And then finally, my uncle decided to go to court, and they told me that I was old enough, and told him that I was old enough to decide where I wanted to go live. So I went to my mom, and then she had a boyfriend at the time. He's passed away now. But he didn't really, I guess, get the concept of having girls besides him and my mom. So there was a big ordeal with that. I'll get to that in another story, because it's very personal. So I ended up calling my boyfriend at the time. I was like, hey, I don't think they really want me here. And then he came and got me because I was crying. And then his mother, she's real sweet and everything, she decided to let me come stay with them and everything. So I went and lived with them. And then a couple months down the road in 2017, I ended up having my first kid. I was supposed to be on birth control, you know? But I was taking the pill at the time, and I skipped a couple days and then forgot to do it at the same time. So we ended up having my oldest. It was a blessing. But also I wasn't ready yet to have a kid. But I figured out along the way, I'm still having troubles with him. Like with his ADHD, I don't want to put him on medication. They want to just like prescribe him on Adderall, which I think, in my opinion, that's too strong of a drug for a kid to be on. Because if they get off of that, they're going to be like addicted to it. And I don't want him to have to go through withdrawal symptoms when he's older and stuff like that. And then all I hear from my youngest, a couple months down the road, we end up getting a house, our first house, which was pretty shitty, pretty much. But it worked. Like this house right here, it works. We've been here 4 years. But that house, like, it holds a piece of us, like, in our hearts and everything. It just holds a special place in your heart. Your first house with your husband, your kid. But we ended up moving out of there and getting a different place. And then here comes, in that place, we ended up making the baby we have, which is our second baby. And he is 5 years old. He's a little rowdy thing. But he also is a mama's boy. But boys will be boys, you know? Like, they will definitely be boys. But I just need some tips on my oldest, like helping him more, like him going to bed a little bit earlier than normal. It pretty much helps him like control his anger. He's getting more sleep. And he wakes up and tells me, he goes, "Mommy, I had the best dream ever. I dreamed about big ice cream cones. Like, you woke me up." So I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we have to go to school, hun." And he was like, "Well, why don't we just tell the school we just need a break, you know?" I was like, "Yeah, we do need a break, but you do have to go to school. Because being in school is going to help you learn more things than you're learning now. And it's also going to help, like, just help you in general." And he goes, "Well, I know everything." He's very rambunctious and everything, off the walls, here and there. I don't really have trouble with my youngest, with school-wise, but I do have trouble, like, if I do come to the school. Like, I don't know if it's because it's a parent thing, like, being around your kid. He just feels safe with me. But he does get upset at school when I'm there, which is, like, wanting him to push him on the swings or something, but the other kids are on it, and it's all full. Which I try to tell him, like, "Hey, it's okay. We'll go play something else. We'll ride the tricycle or something." But, of course, they want the one thing that they can't have. But if any of you other mamas have any tips on, like, how to deal with ADHD without putting on medication, that would be great. Because I am desperately in need of some tips that doesn't involve, like, prescription, like, just doctor stuff. Like, no one wants to deal with the doctors and deal with their prescription drugs and trying to get kids on Adderall and, like, stuff that's not going to help them in the long run, you know? Because some kids do need it. And I know he needs it, but I'm taking every obstacle around that before I take that option with, like, prescription. But yeah, if you have any comment, like any specific things I can do, comments, recipes, like snack ideas, anything like that, that'd be greatly appreciated. And I hope you like this video. And I hope you will join us on our journey. We can do more like talking, setting down videos like this, or we can go try like clear our heads at the park, or just in general. In general, just talk about how our lives are, and then as mothers, and like being a mother has changed me so much, but also not. But I'm very anxious. Like on some things, it's hard to take your kids in public nowadays because of how people are just snatching your kids out of the carts, or just like rude in general. We went to Buc-ee's the other day, and my husband didn't hear me because the door was like very loud when he walked in. He didn't hear me holler at him to stop, like so we could catch up to him, but he went inside and there was like this young couple up there. And my oldest, you know, he's very over, like, stimulated. He's very reactive and just walking, minding his business. And he just wants to see the store because that was our first time to Buc-ee's. And this couple just runs into him. He goes, "Watch your kid." But you're the one who just ran into my kid. So of course my husband had to walk out, and he was like, "I'm sorry I couldn't let you see Buc-ee." People are just rude, because they are in general. They're not like how they was when I was growing up or he was growing up. People weren't that rude. They weren't assholes about like kids walking, like they want to see the Buc-ee mascot. So he was like, "Well, we'll come up there next time and we'll try it again. But just please give me some tips on how to not be socially awkward, and like just tips on motherhood." I like hearing other stories from mothers, and like especially with ones that have ADHD kids. That would help me out tremendously. And I also will comment back to your comments. But I think that's all for now. And I have like plenty of other stories, some wild, crazy stories. Some of them I can't post or talk about on here, but if we become friends and stuff, yes, I would definitely talk to you about my crazy stories and crazy family, because we have some crazy people in our family. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you hit that like button, subscribe button, and comment down below and share with your friends, and maybe they can like relate to this video. But thank you.